What's going on, everyone? It's time for another obscure horror film review. So recently I've been doing a lot of mainstream sort of stuff and like the big franchises and things like that. Well, no names, but there's a well-known name behind this, but but it's very obscure, and that is, well, today we're going to be talking about the Stephen King creature feature horror film The Night Flyer. Now, believe it or not, this film is technically out of print. It's been for a while. This was the last known not last copy, but like the last version when it was put out on DVD way back in I think it was like 2000. This came out, and that's what you got, like this old snap case and that, and it goes now. Well, when I got this in like a horror lot, for like $10, but yeah, if you try to buy this alone on eBay, it's about like $80 almost now and stuff, because it's so sought after and that. And there's an interesting backstory behind this. I'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, for people who don't know, this is a Stephen King film, The Night Flyer. It was released by New Line Cinema May 2nd, 1997. It was written by Jack O'Donnell, produced by Richard P. Rubenstein and Mitchell Gowan, and it was written and directed by Mark Pavia, who I've done one of his other films, Fender Bender, a while ago, so he did that, but he's also done films like St. Clair, Ninja Zombie, and Rhapsody, but that's about it. And this had a horrible box office earnings of only 125,000, just over 125,000. But there was a reason behind that, because whoever was doing like the releasing for this film, was supposed to go to theaters, then to like special movie network TV channels back in the day, but they kind of did the opposite by mistake. So it first premiered on like HBO, I believe it was. And so a lot of people saw it on TV, and then they decided to release it in theaters, which is why it has a horrible box office rating, since the studio executives and stuff are like, oh, okay, it's terrible. But no. But yeah. So this is it's a little cheaper sort of feel. I love the 90s Stephen King films were like TV oriented, but this is way more violent than most of those. This came out around the same time as like, I think The Stand and all that were like big on the TV networks and stuff. So they were making a lot of TV movies and stuff. So, but The Night Flyer is the story of a journalist gets assigned a story of there's a mysterious being, like killer, that is attacking rural airports. He flies in at night, kills people, and then flies away before sunrise. And all he leaves is a pile of dirt, and people have only seen this one obscure Cessna plane go. And but he goes and he kills at least one person and then goes off to the next. And so he's assigned the story to look into it. And at first he doesn't want to do it. And then another newcomer journalist gets assigned, and she gets more of the scoop, and then he ends up wanting to take part in it. So he goes on it, and it becomes more darker and obscure, the story, than he ever thought as it goes on. I might spoil this. I'm probably going to spoil this film, by the way. So just giving you a heads up. But yeah. So, overall, I thought this film is pretty clever. It's a good mystery horror film. It takes a little while for the horror elements to kick in, but and it's done a lot in the cliche of flashback form, which a lot of people like. I'm not a huge fan of that, but this is one of the films that utilizes that perfectly to make the story go. And I couldn't see any, especially in the mid 90s, a better way to do that. So they definitely use that to their advantage, and it was a good way to see the story perspective when the characters that are being interviewed are asked how it happened, and hearing the story and the remarks and stuff is actually a really good way to portray it. The special effects, like the practical effects and the gore effects in this, are fantastic. You can see the monster right here, so it's not really a mystery of what he looks like. But in the film, oh, it looks fantastic. I loved it. The gore effects, like the cuts on the face and neck and everything, all looks so good. And I don't know if that was for the TV version or the theatrical version, but I'm surprised that it actually had that, and I was impressed with that. I really enjoyed it. The acting is really good in this too. There's some really good acting for what it was, because this isn't like a mega budget movie or anything. This is like a 4 million, like $2 to $4 million movie, like not even like it was done pretty well acting wise, and overall I think this film's pretty underrated, but you can't really find it anywhere now. But I really enjoyed it, and one of the things I love is it has a cliche ending. This is where the spoilers come in, so just so you know. But it has a really cliche ending, but this is one of the films that really pushes it and uses this cliche ending to the max, and that's the journalist is actually the killer, no actual monster. And the way um you realize it, and it's not like, oh, there's a huge dramatic outcome at the end. It just cuts and it's done. I love the way they ended this film. Overall, I really like this movie. I grew up watching this, so I'm a huge fan. Obviously, I like Stephen King stuff, so whether it's the movies or the books and stuff, I always like that stuff. Um, some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. I still find this better than like the junk that comes out now, like the It remakes and stuff. I still think these hold up way better. So, but yeah, The Night Flyer is a really good movie. The only complaint I'd say is it's quite a lull in the film for the first like hour, and it's an hour and a half long. And yeah, you get some good things and some good like explorations of like the Black Cessna blood in it and stuff, but it takes its time. But you really get to know the characters and feel for them. So it's a yin and yang sort of style thing. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. I like it. Obviously, I own it. So, but yeah, this is definitely one of the films more people should seek out and see, because to me, it's one of the better Stephen King movies, especially from the 90s, and even better than most of the junk that comes out these days. And it holds up well. It has a little bit of like X-Files sort of feel to it, but it does also, it might turn some people off because it has a little bit of a cheaper feel to it. But for the most part, I give this film a solid 4 out of 5. It's pretty good. Yeah, there's no cheesy, crappy 90s CG in it or anything like that. They used everything to the best that their abilities of what they had. And too bad that you can't find it anywhere, because it really deserves another breath of fresh air and stuff. So yeah, if you could find this, check it out. I'll try to find it online. If there's somewhere that you can watch it for free or something, I'll link it down below. Or if not, I'll just link the trailer or maybe a YouTube rip of it or something. I'll try my best to find something so you can check it out if you want to check it out. But also, link down below is my Instagram. That's where I always post clips, films, and review in the future. All my stories. You have the film title, hashtag, and subgenre of film and a hashtag, so you're aware of it. And also my Letterbox is down below, Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first diary after watching the films. And I have Twitter now, so reviews_Derek. So follow me on one of those platforms, stay with this channel. Like this video, share it to more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any, and let me know what your favorite Stephen King film is down below as well. Also, yeah, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully, find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together, something like this. And also, so you hear my opinions on popular films, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. Also, down below, if you have any films or film franchises, in any genre that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them, and I'll review anything on any streaming site, so don't let that be a worry. And yeah, and make sure you ring that bell, because I'm going to do another sort of like old school style monster movie-ish Will Smith classic called I Am Legend. I'm going to be talking about that in the next review. So make sure you tune in for that, and make sure you seek out the Night Flyer. The main reason why he flies around in a Cessna is because the vampire apparently can't fly, which is a funny weird spin on a vampire. And also, he has 2 hook teeth, not 2 fangs, which is, they had some cool stuff like that. And I think a lot more people should check this out because it's definitely not cliche. There's some cliches, but not the normal ones you see in a vampire movie. This is definitely one of the better vampire movies. So make sure you check it out. But that's it for this one. Watch out for all those dark, gore, thirsty vampires out there that are flying around in airplanes, not turning into a bat. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.